Welcome to another episode of Artist Block. Today's guests are not artists, but they did have interesting views on art, and I'd like to share those today. So, today we're talking about Plato and Aristotle. So, no, Plato and Aristotle were not artists, but they were philosophers who analyzed art and wrote about its impact. Plato, a poet in his early career, was a philosopher concerned with the moral and philosophical implications of art, sometimes viewing it as a potentially deceptive imitation of reality. Aristotle, on the other hand, a student of Plato, had a more positive view of art. He believed that art was a natural human inclination and could be a valuable tool for both pleasure and knowledge. Plato thought that art was dangerous, or it could be dangerous, and that it should be controlled. He had a very critical view of it, and again, he thought it was highly deceptive. But Aristotle believed that people should learn more about art and get to know more about art. And it's interesting because while Aristotle is the student of Plato, they had totally different views of art. But if you look at pictures of Plato and Aristotle, even though they're super old and they don't have pupils in some of these pictures, you could just tell that Plato was like stern. Like, don't come at him unless you have something serious or meaningful to talk about. This is just what I gather. He just looks very grumpy, like he does not want to be bothered. Whereas Aristotle, on the other hand, he looks like he could be serious, like he could mean business, but he has more of a softer look, a softer approach. I know you can't really gather a 100% like accuracy of how these people really were unless you really knew them, but this is just what I gathered just from looking at these ancient pictures of them. But yeah, Aristotle looked softer on the eyes.